ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest in this next interview. Iran's foreign minister has just visited Moscow, seeking deeper coordination with Russia against a backdrop of U.S. strikes on its nuclear sites. Now, all the while, Iran remains Russia's chief supplier of drones that have intensified the war in Ukraine. What are the implications of this Tehran-Moscow alignment for Kyiv, and how might Ukraine respond? With us is Oleksiy Goncharenko, a Ukrainian MP and expert in defense and international strategy. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Hello.
So there's now two lines of thinking when it comes to U.S. strike on Iran. Some say that this is going to impact their capability of supplying Russia with arms, but people are also worried that this might shift Washington's focus from Ukraine to the Middle East. How do you look at this as a whole, and what do you think Iran's diplomatic outreach to Moscow signals?
Yeah, first of all, we have development of the situation, and it looks like we will have a ceasefire between Iran and Israel right now. And this is a significant development. In this case, if this war will really be 12 days long, not more, this is a good scenario both for Ukraine and Europe in general, because it will stop peaking of oil prices, from which Russia will benefit, but not us, not Europe. Secondly, it will stop America to be 100% involved there, and we will have again a chance to get back America to United States, to European affairs, and to Russian-Ukrainian war. Iran, and what is interesting is that the United States showed that Russia is really a very weak partner. Russia couldn't protect Iran, which was their strategic ally, and the whole world saw it. So Israel, together with the United States, destroyed Iranian air defense, nuclear facilities, and so on and so on, and Russia did absolutely nothing. So the world saw that Russia doesn't care about their so-called allies. One of key Russian allies, Iran, is significantly weakened, and this can be a good results of what had happened during last 2 weeks. And the most important, that we would not get into the very long war in the Middle East. But we will see how the situation will develop. Mm-hmm. Again, answering your question, Iran hoped that Russia will help them, but Russia can't, and now the whole world saw it.
All right, so this is a very significant development indeed. Do you think that, well, if things normalize in the Middle East, or at least the ceasefire is achieved, Iran will be back to supplying Russia with arms? Or do you think that this visit being unfruitful might actually have some kind of ramification diplomatically as well?
It looks like this visit was unfruitful. We don't know the details. But for the moment, Iran looks marginalized, alone. And Russia makes some statements, but nothing else except of statements.
So right now, how critical is actually Iran's drones to Russian supplies? Because I've also been hearing two different lines of thoughts. Some saying that Iran is still heavily supplying Russia with drones, but some are saying that it's mostly about technology and they are already capable of producing some of these weapons. How realistically on the ground, what does that mean for Ukraine?
I don't know for 100%, but mostly these drones already made in Russia itself. So Russia localized this production, and now they are not so much dependent from deliveries from Iran. So Russia produces these drones themselves. Maybe some of parts are still short in Russia and they need it from Iran, but it's not very significant. So now, unfortunately, here I can't say that after these last bombings of Iran that we in Ukraine hope that the number of drones which attack Ukraine every day will decrease. Unfortunately, I don't think so. So it's not something we should wait for.
Now, in the beginning of this conflict, there were rumors, speculations about whether or not Putin will try to play the role of the mediator in order to garner some favor with the United States. Of course, that's quickly dispelled, and Donald Trump seems not to want to get involved with having Russia as a negotiator, mediator. Do you think that this also signifies a change of stance when it comes to how Washington sees Russia?
It's a good question, and Russia really wanted to exploit this kind of position of a negotiator, mediator, and they were just refused in this, and in very Trump's way, I would say. So that again showed decrease of the role and significance of Russia on the world stage. And Russia really can't be a negotiator, can't be a mediator. They can't protect their allies. So the whole world saw it, and this is important development.
And do you think that with, kind of Iran being on the bad side of the States again, there will be significant sanctions and probably even a more joint effort now to put economic pressure on this Iran-Russia axis?
Yeah, and now we can see that this axis of chaos, Russia, Iran, North Korea, the proxies which they support, Houthis, Hamas and others, and China standing behind them, that is really, they are weakened for the moment. And we will see how it will develop, but they are weakened, and that's the time to increase pressure on Russia. And even these anti-bunker bombs, which were used for the first time by the United States in a real life, that also showed that Putin, who sits in his bunker, is also not 100% safe. And this is important. This is important signal. And I think that President Trump now should increase his efforts to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine.
All right. So last but not least, is there any diplomatic levers Kyiv can push or pull at this kind of specific moment to garner some support from the United States?
Not exactly. We just need to reiterate that we are ready for the peace right now, that we're ready to stop the hostilities right now unconditionally, and we need just to say thank you to the United States that you helped to stop the war in the Middle East. Now it's time to do the same in Europe.
All right. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. Before more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TPP World.